I'm Lisa Bailey.
And I'm Patrick Bailey with IQlist.com. Today is April 29th, 2018, and this is a Manipulative Monday. Okay, in a recent Manipulative Monday we just did, we had a Manipulative Monday where we talked about doing shapes, and we ended up doing Tinkercad. And while we were doing that, my wife was mentioning to me something she wanted to do with Kendall, our daughter, when she's learning shapes, was to make a pyramid of pyramids, but she couldn't find enough pyramids. Mm-hmm. And so, if you can see here on the screen, here's a pyramid of pyramids stacked up, and there's pyramids on the inside. And so we thought, let's go actually do that. So
it's going to take a lot of pyramids.
It's going to take a lot of pyramids. So I think we're going to do it a couple of ways. We're going to go right now into Tinkercad and actually design this. But I think we're going to do it two ways. We're going to do it so we have just individual pyramids. So you just can stack them all up. And then also connect some, so it's like layer by layer, so you just slap them on.
Well, yeah, so if you look at this, it's essentially, the bottom layer is 4x4, so 16 pyramids. And then, so I'd like to print out just that layer, 16 pyramids.
Yeah.
And then take the next layer, which is 3x3, so 9, and flip it up on top of it.
Okay.
So print out that layer. So essentially, by the time we get done, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This comes up to 44 pyramids.
44 pyramids. That's why I did not order 44 pyramids.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Well, with that, let's get going and actually do this in Tinkercad. Okay, so I'm going to make a new guy in here. So let's go in here and go, let me slow down. I will click on here to My Designs and just create a new design. And I was doing some measurements, and those pyramids the big pyramid we did was 70 by 70. Which that's
70 millimeters?
Yeah, 70 millimeters, that'd be huge.
But very cool.
You want to do 70 millimeter pyramid?
No,
okay.
But that would be very cool.
Well, I figure we're going to start with let's do half, do 35.
So you're trying to say that when we get done, you're saying that each individual is going to be half of that. So 35 by 35.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll start drawing a pyramid here. So there's 35 by 35. And I'll click on this and raise this up to 35. So there's our pyramid. So I'll just take one over and put it over here. And then I'll click on this, do Control-C, Control-V, and now I've copied that. So now I'm going to try to make a 4x4 pyramid all together. Because my idea is that we'll just take this one pyramid object and print out 44, probably 50 of them on one sheet. Or two sheets. I don't know. I'll have to go think about that. But then to print them out, and then that might work too. We can just stack them and see how that works. But I also think it's a good idea to print them out connected, but we have to do something special for that. So let me do Control-C, Control-V, and paste another one. And then I will go to the front view, and I'll click down here on orthogonal view, so that loses that perspective, so I can actually see it straight on and organize them a little easier. So Control-C, Control-V, Control-C, Control-V again. And if I go here, I guess see that's what I want. Let me select all those together. And I guess I could group them right now. So come up here and click Group. So I got a group of 4. And then copy and paste again. And put them right there. Oh, and I can use the arrow keys to nudge it, which is nice to know. Okay, I think that's right. Let me group those again. And then copy and paste. I think that gets you your base. Yeah, so there's your base, which is pretty big. But right now, if we print that...
Yeah, is it going to be stable if you print that?
No, so I had an idea about that.
Okay.
So I think when it comes to all of these guys... Oops, let me go to the top. So what I want to do is... It may mean there's a little bit more space, but what I want to do is get a box. So I'll drag a box out in here. And I'll make this box. That's 35 times, so 70, so 140. So that'd be 140. Alright. So make that 140 by 140, so it's the same size, right? But then what I want to do is at some point, if I did this, I'll be a little ridiculous. If I went that high, which would be ridiculous, right? Mm-hmm. They would print out together. It'd be one piece. So I think I can do that same idea, but just do it. It doesn't need to be much. Like 2 millimeters would probably be enough to hold it together.
You can try it out.
I think so. I think it'll be enough to hold it together.
The thing is, when you take that next layer and put it on top.
Yeah, you'll have a little bit of...
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Well, that next layer will also have the 2 millimeters.
Yeah.
That will sit on top of the tops of these. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, you'll have a little wiggle. I mean, you'll have... I guess we'll find out, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, it won't go all the way down, so it'll like bump right against there. Mm-hmm. I mean, your other choice is to chop off the top. Mm-mm. Otherwise, they're going to go in there, but it'll be so close that, you probably won't notice. It's 2 millimeters.
Let's try it.
Okay, so there's that guy.
How about before you print out the 4x4, you print out the smallest layer first, and we can build it.
Well, also, it's just one pyramid.
Okay, the smallest layer with the
2x2?
With the 2 millimeter base.
Okay, that's a good thought.
So you can print it out from the top down so that if you have any problems, you're not wasting all that material and you can make adjustments as you go.
That's a good idea. That is a good idea. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. So that's my 4x4. Mm-hmm. So I'll just go make let's call this 4x4 pyramid. And I'll go make a 3x3. So I'll need one 4x4, but I'll need 2 3x3s. One will be digging in and one will be sitting on top.
Sitting on top. Yep.
Yeah. So let me create a new design.
But they'll just mimic each other. Right?
Yeah. It's going to be...
Now, couldn't you have just taken your 4x4 and sectioned off a 3x3 and copy and pasted it, or no?
Yeah, I could, but then it gets... Well, then you have to do that square. I'd have to do a bunch of little squares.
Okay. I just said no.
You could. Maybe I'm just going to do them separate.
Okay.
Separate for now. Okay, so let me go to the front. Go to the orthographic view. Makes it easier. Copy, paste. Do that. So they match. Copy, paste. There we go. And then go to the top. Yeah.
And those are 35 by 35?
Oh, I went to the wrong... Went backwards for a reason. Okay. What did I just do? Okay. Yeah, those are 35 by 35. Okay. I'll call this 3x3 pyramid. So we'll group those, copy paste. Use my arrow keys to nudge it. And then paste again. Use my arrow keys to nudge it. And then I'll do a square again. And this time I gotta do, I guess I just drag it. 105, 70 plus 30, yeah, 105. And go to the front. And pull it down to 2 millimeters like we did before. Which hopefully is enough. Okay, so there's my 3x3. I just have to print 2 of these out. Mm-hmm. So that's automatically saved already. So now I'll just do a 2x2. I already have a 1, so I don't need to do that again. So I'll go make a new one. New design. Come on. Okay, 2 by 2 pyramid. So 35, 35. For my height, put in 35. Go to the front view, go to orthographic, and Control C, Control V, copy paste, and then place it. Paste again. Go to my top view. Oh, nope, it was a little bit too close. There we go. Okay, group that one. Wait, it should be 2 by 2.
Yeah.
Group that one. Copy paste. And you can use the arrow keys to nudge it. And there we go. Let me put a square on it. Which is at the top. There we go. And so that should be 70 by 70, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And then go to the front and drag it down to 2. Boom. Oh, I need to nudge that.
There you go.
There we go. And then I should grab all that and group it, which I should have done to the other ones. But let me go to the other ones and do that right now. So tinker that. And group those together. And then go to the 4 by 4 pyramids. And group those. Okay, and then I can just, you can change the whole thing to an STL file, or you can just choose one at a time. So I can just click on that one, the single one, and do export. So click on export, just a selected shape, hit STL. But the only thing is it names it after whatever this whole file is.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go over here. Let me erase this other guy that I don't need right now. Delete. So I'll call that single pyramid. And I'll grab this one and export it. The selected shape as an STL file. So now I got both of those. Let me go do the same thing for the 3 by 3 and the 2 by 2. So click on that, export it. And the 2 by 2. Export it. Okay, then I just bring up my Prusa control, since we have a Prusa printer. And then I can just drop in, well, we'll start with the 2 by, let me see how big the 4 by 4 is. That's pretty big, but it should work. But we'll start with the 2 by 2. Okay. So we can do the 2 by 2.
Can you do 2 of them?
Yeah, yeah. So I can do a Control C, Control V. But also, you just want a single pyramid.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna want a couple.
Yeah. Well, without the 3, there's no reason to have 2 of these right now because you want 2.
No,
test.
no, I'm sorry.
But as a test, you don't, right?
Yeah, you're gonna want 2 of the 3 by 3s.
You're gonna eventually want 2.
Yeah.
Because you want 1 4 by 4, 2 3 by 3s, 2 2 by 2s, and 2 singles.
Something like that.
Something like that. Or you could print like these out.
Oh, there you go.
And print all that out.
Well, you hate to print that much out and find out that the base thing
Doesn't connect very well.
Yeah.
Well,
You will need two by 2s. Because the 2x2 is going to have to fit upside down on the 3x3, and then the 2x2 is going to have to fit up on top.
Yeah. But if you have two 2x2s, how do you test it? You're not really testing 2x2s with each other.
True.
That's not too much to print out, I don't think.
Okay.
Try that. Or I could do them individually. Just do a 3x3. I'll do different files, then you can just print more files. Okay. So I'll go through all this and figure it out, and then I'll also make one that has, I don't know, maybe I'll just go for it broke and see how many pyramids can I fit on one individual? Probably like 20.
That'd be cool.
Watch them all rise up, but I'll do these ones first. So with that, let's, I'm going to, well, let me just do one right now. So for this one, I want to do fast. I want to do low quality, which means fewer layers, and those layers might be rough, which is good because they might hook onto each other better, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I don't really need, I can do a sparse infill on these. Mm-hmm. Doesn't need any support, and just generate. Oh, there we go. So it's take a couple hours. There's my pyramids.
Cool. Let's try it out.
Try it out and see how it does. Okay, so I have been partially defeated. So we printed some of these out with the connected layer there on the bottom. But I didn't think this through, and so when I printed another one out, do I have a little guy? Yeah. When I printed another one out, of course I took those 2mm away, and now it's not going to fit properly. So actually I chopped the head off of one and stuck it in. And so that worked, kinda. But then I realized, well, I should lower the 2mm. That's what I did. I actually went through back on my design. I already did it on these guys. So let me ungroup you and ungroup these and show what I did. So what I actually had to do is go back into all my models, and rather than have this just sitting there at 2mm, I actually took this and raised it. And if you're new to Tinkercad, what you can do is whenever you click on something, there's a little black line up here, and you can use that to raise it off the platform. That's one way to do it. And so I raised this enough off the platform for this.
So it's just sitting right on top.
So it's just sitting right on top. And so this is 2mm. We were talking about maybe going down to 1, but I think I'm going to keep it at 2 for now. Okay. So the only thing that's going to happen is when we start stacking these, they're going to stack up against each other. You're going to have this little thick 4mm thing each level, which is okay.
2mm thing.
Well, 2 plus 2.
Oh.
So you'll have that, and this will go underneath it, and you'll have, a little, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just every layer will have this extra bit. So they're not touching each other.
Let's try it.
And so I already remade them all, but I think that will work.
You mean you remade them all on Tinkercad?
Yeah, I remade them all on Tinkercad, and I already made the STL files. Speaking of which, if you do this, make sure to group them, because if I don't, like right now, if I hit export, those are 2 objects.
Oh.
I selected both, so actually they'll make one file right now the way I selected them, but if I didn't think about that and just selected those...
It would just export the pyramids and not the bottom red.
Yeah, and then you're...
Platform.
Or you could choose everything because they happen to be next to each other. Either way will work. But just make it simple, group them. And they're the same colors. It's easy to make that distinction. So I'm going to go reprint. I didn't actually print all of them. I only printed... Did I print the 3s? Or just print this one? I forget.
You just printed the top one.
I printed this top one. So I'm going to go reprint everything and record that. And I think it should work. But also, we did go print out 16 just pyramids by themselves, which we need 44, I think, to do the high layer.
You need 44 of them to make the pyramid with the base that's 4x4.
Yeah, I think I've got a pyramid. Here's this one.
Well, 4x4, that's 16 plus 9 and 9. It's 18.
I did the math before. I think it's 44. Oh.
I believe you.
Believe me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is where I was trying to do some stuff. I tried to actually... It was funny because I have the pyramid not there. I just stuck the pyramid together all as one thing somewhere. Oh, there it is.
Very cool.
And what I tried to do, because this is an object, I downloaded this STL file, and I tried to just make this G code just for this guy, and just print this all as one thing.
Mm-hmm. Would it do it?
It didn't like the shape. So there's something about it. It just
Really?
kind of barfed on the shape. And so I've had this happen on a few odd shapes that improves the control, which is what I'm sticking with because I want to keep it simple. It kind of looked at this object and didn't know what to do. It kind of partially did part of it and it didn't do the rest. And so it kind of, maybe I should show. Let me export and show what it did. So let me just, because maybe it'll do it now. That'd be awesome if I accidentally watch it like do it now. Which will make me happy because it'd be awesome. Let's see. Show in a folder. So there it is. And if I drop this in, it'll show up just fine, right?
Yeah.
I've never had an object not show up in here correctly so far. I mean, it shows up. But if I try to generate it, and also is to note that if you do this correctly and precisely, like this is mathematically precise, this image.
Yeah.
That the only thing they're touching are like the very edge.
Yep.
So not a lot touching. Which is also why, did we ever say this? Which is if you print these out and you try to put them together by hand.
Yeah, we tried last night.
Although
we had lots of fun playing with them, we tried to create the pyramid with pyramids, and there's just way too many variables. They shift, they move, that we just kind of gave up and decided just to play with them individually.
So it could be a challenge.
We started to make other shapes.
But maybe it's a challenge. Maybe you can pull it off. But we couldn't do it very well. We had it like on a... put on some cloth. We put it on a towel and try to get it up, and it just... They're too... because you're trying to get on that just edge.
Yeah.
And there's just...
By the time you touch it, then the bottom layer just moves just a tad. And
so I might print some more out, but I think... I don't know. I don't think it's going to... I don't know. We'll give them another shot. Maybe try to make a small pyramid by hand. But that book saying, hey, go make a pyramid of pyramids. They obviously didn't do it.
My kids have been playing with them all day.
See, look at that. See?
Huh.
It just... I don't know what it is. And maybe there's another program that will do better, or if I added...
Maybe your guys aren't connected on your...
And see, it doesn't even go all the way up. Well, technically they're connected, but there's something about it that it just kind of... I've had it flip out on a few shapes where it just kind of goes, I don't know what to do. Maybe it's because it's thin there. Maybe because they're just... Yeah, it could be just because they're touching like on a razor edge.
And maybe
and so
visually they look like they're touching, but they really aren't. I don't know.
Maybe if I moved them in closer to each other so that they're overlapping a little bit technically. I don't know, but there's something about it I don't like.
Either way, it's fun to just print out layer by layer so the kids can just stack them up and make stuff.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue doing that. I might print some more single ones out, but we'll see how this goes. But I think this, once I fix it and have that move that shelf down, that little bottom layer down, I think it'll work. But it was kind of dumb of me to superimpose it right there, not thinking. But that's the joy of 3D printing. You get to prototype, right?
See, I still think 2 millimeters is too much. Because it's pretty stout.
It is pretty stout.
I think 1 millimeter will do it. Especially with our kids because they're older and they know how to handle these pretty well without breaking them. Maybe for a younger kid, you want a pretty stout. But I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I already have those files made, so I'm going to start printing those out and we'll see how it ends up. Okay, so we got all the pyramids printed out. And I'll show them all here in a little bit. But first I want to go over the numbers. So I'm just going to split this up into kind of two groups. One is how the 16 single pyramids we printed out. So the 16 single pyramids we printed out took 10 hours and 43 minutes to print out. It took 8.6 cents worth of electricity, and that's based on 10 cents per kilowatt hour. And the total weight for all 16 was 0.112 kilograms, which comes out to $2.24 worth of filament if your filament is $20 per kilogram. And so just for those 16 came out to $2.32 for that print. And then for the entire thing, which means you need 1 4x4, 2 3x3s, 2 2x2s. Oh, there we go. There's 3x3, 3x3. And then 2 1x1s. So you need a bunch of stuff. So when you add all those together and all the print times together, that took 24 hours and 8 minutes altogether. It took 20.6 cents worth of electricity, and it weighs 0.264 kilograms. So that comes out to $5.28 worth of filament based on a $20 per kilogram roll. And so the total on that is for this entire pyramid is $5.48. And so now that we've got it fixed, so now that the pyramids are laying on top, so now we basically have this 2 millimeter plate, and they're all laying on top. It is working just fine. So there's the 4 and the 3, and we need the second 3. And then I got a 2. Let's see. Got a 2, goes down, and another 2 on top. Oh. Then it gets tricky with the single ones. Oh, now it's not going to want to do it. Come on, single guy. Yeah, I'll try that.
Put it down.
Okay, put it down.
Let me try it. There you go.
So I got to put it off camera so we can get it together.
It helps to have a little stability on there first. So
I'll just scoot it over. Okay. I'll cheat. I'll just cheat. Okay. If I had it on the table, it's a little easier to get that guy in, but...
You can almost just make a diamond for that top one.
Maybe you could.
But you need
or I
some...
get to print it. Print it down would be kind of rough.
Yeah, you need... Get it diamond in there.
But it all works. So when you get it down on the table, it goes together pretty easily.
Yeah.
And so that idea works.
Yeah.
And so, but trying to do 16 individual, well, I didn't even bother printing out 40, I think it was 44 individual pyramids. We did the 16 and tried to do it, and it's a challenge to stack them up individually when they're not all connected like this. And so we gave up.
Yeah, there were just way too many variables.
It's just I'm sure you could do it, but it's kind of like making a house of cards. It's a challenge.
Yeah, you would almost need some sort of maybe even tactile surface on the bottom to allow the individual ones to not move when you
like you snap them in or something. Well,
yeah, I don't know, but I think this works great.
Yeah, this gets the point across. This big old... I'll just leave the top ones off.
So you can,
this gets the point across.
You can maneuver from, okay, so we have these individual pyramids. How can we make a huge pyramid out of these individual pyramids and start the process? And then, start to realize that's kind of difficult, and then transfer into these smaller ones. Here's the 3x3. It's 2x2 on top. It's kind of cool. The kids really liked it. They still play with the individual pyramids downstairs.
Yeah, and I guess if you want to get the point across that you can make a pyramid of pyramids, you don't need to really print this extra piece. That would probably cut out, look at my numbers, if you didn't print just these two, that cuts out 12 hours.
Yeah.
So that would be, this would be about 12 hours and probably less than half the cost. That'd probably be $2 to print out, I'm guessing. I'd have to go look at the numbers.
Well, and you can make your pyramid smaller too.
You can make your, we talked about that.
Things.
If you made your pyramid smaller, we talked about that. We were talking about it off camera. If you made them smaller, it'd be fine for these. Mm-hmm. But once you made these smaller, they become swallowable size. And I don't like that idea. This is big enough where a kid's not going to swallow it, a little kid. But if you went half the size of this, I'd worry about a kid swallowing.
Well, sometimes it's kind of cool to make things bigger.
A
little bit more dramatic and memorable.
Yeah, and this actually was kind of cool because this was in one of your math.
No,
not math. What was it in?
Egyptian.
Egyptian
kind of activities.
Oh.
So like talking about the step pyramid, and so we made a step pyramid out of sugar cubes.
But it talked about one of the activities was make a pyramid out of pyramids.
Make a pyramid out of pyramids.
Which I think in that book they actually didn't try it themselves. They probably just knew in theory you could do it. Because individual pyramids is hard to stack.
Possibly, yeah. I'd have to
they
go
probably
back
just thought it was a cool
it.
idea. Hey, you could stack pyramids and make a pyramid.
Well,
but they
I didn't even try because I couldn't even find a plethora of pyramids at a reasonable price, all identical. It just wasn't possible. So we just did the step pyramid out of sugar cubes, and we just bypassed this and looked at the pictures, which kind of stunk because this is really cool.
But I like it.
It's something good for Egypt.
Just make sure you don't accidentally leave these on the floor.
Because they hurt. Like,
okay. I haven't stepped on one yet. I've been careful because these are pokey.
Like Lego, like step on Lego.
No, these make Legos look like they're not trying.
Really?
Yeah, look at that, man. Imagine stepping on that full force.
At least they're not as small as Legos.
No, but that would...
Don't realize you're stepping on them.
You might be bleeding after stepping on that.
We're sitting on them. Let's just not do it. So, they turned out great.
Okay, so they turned out great. So, this is one of those things that when you were doing this, what, a couple months ago?
No, this was way back at the beginning of our Egypt study, which was probably in September.
Oh,
October.
So that's this year.
This academic year, but it was a good 6 or so months ago.
Yeah.
6+ months ago.
But had we been at the state of 3D printing where we are now, you would have probably asked for this.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, we're a little late now, but it's still cool. The kids are playing with it. It's kind of a cool concept.
Well, and it'd just be cool to build it up and have it, on your desk or something. It's one of those things that's really cool to look at.
But if I was going to, well, I probably will leave this around.
We keep looking at it and it's off screen.
I'm sorry. If we're going to keep this around, we might. We probably are. We are.
Yeah.
But we should probably just glue this permanently here. And then glue this guy on.
Yeah.
And just
make it one solid.
And then leave these separate so you can stack them. Because those are easy to stack, but this guy is kind of a bugger. Or even just some goop. I don't know. Some what's that boring glue? Just the glue that you use in school, little...
Elmer's?
Not Elmer's glue. Rubber cement.
Rubber cement.
Just a little rubber cement would probably do.
Yeah. And you could probably just put it down on the spire at the bottom.
A little glue.
And just let it hold into place. Yeah.
And then glue this one on because I don't want this just rolling around. Yeah, maybe I'll try that.
And then you have something cool to look at.
It is kind of cool.
I think it's cool. And I was questioning whether the 2mm base was too thick.
Yeah.
Maybe 1mm was just fine. You can't even tell.
Nah,
because essentially, between layers here, you have 4mm.
Yeah, you got like a...
You can't even tell.
Nah. So.
And it's stout. These layers right here.
Cool.
Stout.
So you like it?
I like it.
Cool.
Next time we'll make it, well, I guess this is appropriate color. Next time we'll make it what it looks like now. We'll chisel it away.
Chisel away. That'd be a lot more.
Never mind.
No, that'd be a lot more design. Let's keep it simple.
Yeah, I like this.
Okay. Well, hey, there you go. There's our Manipulative Monday, which really wasn't a challenge. It was just we wanted to kind of do this because it's been in the back of our head for quite some time. Mm-hmm. She's mentioned to me a lot, and so worked out. A few lessons learned. Like the fact that you can't stack a bunch of them singly by yourself unless you're some cup stacking master, and I'm not.
Or unless you use some sort of adhesive.
Yeah. But
possibly.
Then what's the point if you're just gluing together anyway?
I don't know.
Anyway. Okay, well, that's that. Hey, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we were doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.